The middle class, once the backbone of modern economies, is shrinking at an alarming rate. Not too long ago, the middle class represented stability, upward mobility, and the promise of a better future. But today, that promise seems to be slipping through our fingers. So, what really happened? Why is the middle class dying? And more importantly, who benefits from its decline? In this video, we'll unravel the hidden forces, from globalization and automation to housing crises and corporate greed, that have led us to this point. But stay tuned until the end, because I'll share a shocking trend that could mean the middle class, as we know it, may never return. 1. The golden era of the middle class. The story of the middle class starts after World War II. The 1950s and 60s saw an economic boom fueled by mass manufacturing, stable wages, and affordable housing. The middle class wasn't just surviving, it was thriving. Families could buy homes, send their kids to college, and even go on vacations, often on just one income. But this golden era didn't happen by chance. It was the result of policies that favored workers, like strong unions, higher corporate taxes, and government investments in infrastructure and education. It was an era where the American dream felt achievable. Fast forward to today, and it feels more like a myth. But what exactly went wrong? Was it just bad policies, or was the system always designed to fail the middle class? Let's dig deeper. 2. The decline begins. Stagnant wages and rising costs. Starting in the 1970s, something shifted dramatically. While productivity soared, wages for the middle class stagnated. This means that while companies were making more money, the workers creating that value saw almost none of it. The cost of living, housing, healthcare, and education skyrocketed. For example, in 1970, the average home in the US cost around $23,000. Today, that number is well over $400,000 in many cities. College tuition has increased by over 1,200% since the 1970s. So even if wages hadn't stagnated, they wouldn't keep up with these insane costs. But why did wages stop growing? Was it simply bad luck? Or were there forces deliberately holding them down? 3. Globalization, a double-edged sword. When we think of globalization, we think of cheaper products and worldwide trade. But for the middle class, globalization has been a nightmare. As companies moved manufacturing to countries with lower wages and weaker labor protections, millions of middle-class jobs were outsourced. The middle class, especially in developed countries, lost stable, well-paying jobs. Entire towns built around industries like steel, automotive, and textiles collapsed overnight. And while companies enjoyed record profits, ordinary workers were left scrambling to survive. But globalization isn't the only culprit. There's something even more powerful and invisible, stealing middle-class wealth. What is it? The automation wave. If globalization took away jobs, automation is making sure they don't come back. Advances in AI, robotics, and software have replaced millions of routine jobs, from factory workers to office clerks. Even professions once considered safe, like law, accounting, and journalism, are now under threat. Automation isn't just replacing workers, it's consolidating wealth. The companies developing AI and robotics are owned by a handful of billionaires, meaning the profits aren't being shared with the middle class. Instead, the gap between the rich and the poor widens even further. But what role does the housing market play in all of this? Could the dream of homeownership be the final nail in the coffin for the middle class? 5. Housing. The broken dream. Owning a home used to be the hallmark of the middle class. But today, housing is increasingly becoming a luxury. Why? Real estate is no longer just about shelter. It's an investment tool for the wealthy. Large corporations and investors now buy up entire neighborhoods, driving prices up and locking out ordinary families. In cities like Los Angeles or New York, even a modest home can cost over $1 million. The result? More and more families are forced to rent, with little chance of building wealth. But what happens when even renting becomes unaffordable? The answer is darker than you think. 6. The debt trap. The middle class is being buried under debt, credit cards, student loans, and mortgages. It's almost impossible for an average family to save when every paycheck is already spoken for. Student loan debt alone in the US exceeds $1.7 trillion, trapping young people before they even start their careers. The cost of medical care forces many into crippling debt, even with insurance. It's a vicious cycle. Debt prevents wealth building, which keeps the middle class stagnant, while the wealthy grow richer. But who profits from this system? And why is nobody talking about it? 7. The rise of corporate power. Over the last 40 years, corporations have gained more power than entire nations. Through lobbying and political donations, big corporations have shaped laws that benefit them while squeezing the middle class. From tax loopholes that allow billionaires to pay less than their secretaries, to monopolies crushing small businesses, the game is rigged. Ordinary workers have less bargaining power, fewer protections, and almost no voice in how the economy operates. So, is the middle class doomed? Or is there a way to fight back? The answer might surprise you. 8. Can the middle class be saved? Here's the big question. Is there hope? Some experts believe that technology could create new opportunities, just as the Industrial Revolution once did. But this will only happen if governments and societies act now. Policies like universal health care, affordable education, and tax reforms could level the playing field. Strengthening unions, investing in green jobs, and breaking up monopolies could revive the middle class. But without these changes, we might be heading toward a two-class society: the rich and everyone else. The death of the middle class isn't just an economic issue. It's a social time bomb. If the middle class collapses completely, the very foundation of democracy and stability is at risk. We are at a crossroads. The question is, will we fight for a fairer system or let it crumble before our eyes? If you found this video eye-opening, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And let me know in the comments, what do you think is the biggest threat to the middle class today?